So the tuck planche is a deceptively easy looking skill, but it's actually quite hard to do. It requires a lot of shoulder strength and also a fair bit of core strength. I can't full planche yet. I'm working on getting my first straddle at the moment, but there's a lot of mistakes I made when I try to learn how to do the tuck planche. Looking back now, I'm hoping I can help you guys avoid making the same pitfalls that I made. If your goal isn't to full planche, I would still recommend learning how to tuck planche. The strength benefits and the things you gain from learning how to do it translates really well into other handstand exercises. So when it comes to planche training, the first thing you should focus on is actually understanding what you're striving for on a technical scale. This is a big mistake I made, is just attempting to move without understanding what you're trying to do with every little part of your body. The first step I would do for planche training is working on the planche lean. I think it's an awesome, amazing exercise because you can vary the level of difficulty just based on the amount of lean you have. So the further forward you lean, the more body weight's going to be over your shoulders and your hands, so the harder it's going to be. So you can start with a very gradual lean and you can just focus on the technique. And that's what you want to do, is you want to nail down the technique before you start trying to do more advanced progressions. Now you can do whatever grip you want. You can go on the fingers, you can go supine grip. The most common, especially for beginners, is your hands slightly turned out at a 45 degree. That allows you to press into the ground with your fingers, but it doesn't put an unnecessary or a lot of strain on your wrists. First big technical thing is having always fully locked out arms. So your elbows are always fully locked out. This is also a massive thing I did. I wasn't strong enough, or I was trying to do progressions that are way too hard for me when my arms will start bending. As soon as you lose that straightness in your arms, rather stop, because then you're training something else. For example, with the planche lean, you start leaning too far forward to the point where the elbows start to bend, rather stop, take it back a step. You want to develop the proper technique before you progress. So first technical element is having the arms fully locked out at all times. Second big thing is having shoulder or scapular protraction, and now it's just a fancy way of basically saying you're going to push your shoulders as hard as you can down into the floor. So you're pushing your shoulders, boom, down into the floor. Second thing is shoulder depression, which is also a weird term, but shoulder depression, all that means is we're tucking our shoulders down away from our ears. You'll see a lot of people, even with dips and other things, where their shoulders shrug up towards the ears. You want to have your shoulders pressed down away from your ears. Okay, so shoulders pressed into the floor, we have scapular protraction, and at the same time shoulder depression. And the third big technical element to think about is obviously having tension throughout the entire body, but activating your glutes, squeezing your glutes and pushing your hips down into the floor. So this is also where filming yourself comes into handy. For the longest time I was doing planche leans thinking I'm nice and straight, and then I filmed myself for the first time and I watched the footage back and I was like, what the fuck is that? That like a disfigured camel or something? Filming yourself can help definitely see if you actually like emulating the shape you want to. I think it's also important to note that even with the understanding of what you're trying to do on a technical side, it's still going to take practice to actually do it right and make it look proper. Make sure you aren't leaning too far forward with the planche lean. Only lean forward to the point where you can comfortably do the form correctly. Once you get the shape right, then you can start increasing the lean. So just don't try to get too far ahead of where you are, sort of thing. So how do you go about actually getting strong enough to do the tuck planche? Practicing your push-ups, your pseudo push-ups, your dips, if you can, handstand push-ups or pike push-ups. All of those pushing elements are going to play a big role in actually developing your shoulder strength so that you can do a tuck planche. You can't just do the isometric hold or just the static holds and think that you're going to get the same stimulus as if you incorporate the basics. Make sure we are building up our foundation, doing all of those exercises I just listed. With the foundational exercises out the way, the first progression to work on for the tuck planche is going to be a grounded tuck planche. So you're going to enter the planche lean position. Now slide both your feet in underneath yourself, and you're going to lift one foot into the tuck planche position, hold for 3 seconds, put it down, lift up the other leg, hold for 3 seconds, put it down. Most important thing is that you're keeping that form and the shape of the upper body as you're sliding the legs in. Try to be as light as you can on your feet. Okay, so first thing, grounded tuck planches, nice and easy. The second progression to work on is going to be something I call pulse reps, which is where you enter the tuck planche shape for about a second and then come back down. Now, if you can elevate yourself off the floor, so if you use parallel bars or like dip bars, it's going to be a bit easier to start out because you can generate a bit of force and momentum with your legs. So you do knee tucks, bring up your knees a bit explosively, enter that tuck planche shape and come back down. You can also do it on the floor, but on the floor is going to be significantly harder because you can't generate as much momentum. Now, obviously the goal is also to sort of take away the momentum over time, so you can control just you can slowly, more controllably, you know what I'm trying to say, you can enter the tuck planche shape without the momentum and then control yourself back down. Fuck me. Third, last thing you could do progression wise is use banded or assistance tuck planche training. Now, very few people have access to that sort of setup, and also there's no place in the gym to really showcase it, so I don't have any examples of that. But you would have the band over your hips so that it elevates and basically just takes away a lot of your body weight. Obviously, the more resistance the band has, the easier it's going to be. So that's the third thing you could do. Learning how to tuck planche with the proper shape is going to take a certain amount of practice. So make sure you are doing those foundational exercises to build up your shoulder strength as well as your core strength. So those toes to bar, hollow body holds, all of that good stuff. I say this all the time because there's no secret. It's literally consistency over time, and you're going to unlock new skills. Build up your strength, practice the technique, put them together, boom, tuck planche. All the best. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm excited to get my first straddle planche. Hopefully that'll be soon, and then eventually my full planche. That'll be awesome. And then when I get there, I can maybe try, I mean, that's the whole, taking it from tuck planche to advanced tuck to straddle. There's another little small tidbit actually, is when you're doing tuck planche, keep those knees nice and close to your chest. If you let them hang low, you're going to try enter more the advanced tuck planche shape. And if you're starting out, that's not going to work. Make sure you are keeping those knees nice and compact, tucked in close to your chest. I just rambled on a little bit there. But yeah, I hope this video helps. All the best and enjoy your planche training.